Morning, you. Coffee? I got you. Here you go. Already ready for you. I know, right? It's almost like I know you pretty well or something. Mwah. Good morning again. What's on the agenda today? That sounds manageable, and you look like you're starting the day on the right foot. I like that smile. You okay? That is a really big smile, actually. The coffee isn't that good, is it? You just have this really blissful look on your face. Did I have anything to do with that? I hope so. Really? Well, yeah, but it's just coffee. I make it for you every morning. There's nothing special about that. I mean, obviously I care. I wouldn't do it otherwise. I care a lot. I love you, in fact. And it's easy to just make you some coffee, so when you wake up, it's ready for you. Nothing to it. Of course I do it right. I know how you take your coffee. Milk, hazelnut syrup, it's not hard to do. Coffee's simple. It's not like I'm making you some complicated cappuccino thing every day. That'd be exhausting. I'd still probably do it, though. Only because I love you so much. And so I could feel like a proper barista. I think you're making it a bigger deal than it is, but I don't want to minimize your gratitude, so you're welcome. How's that? You're an acts of service person, aren't you? I think I already knew that, but this really drives it home. Something as simple as coffee you are so happy about. I'm glad that it makes you feel loved. Acts of service, like the love language. You feel loved when I do things for you, even little things like coffee. That's like what affection means to you. It's an oversimplification, but love languages do kind of help us connect with each other. Everyone receives and expresses love differently, so it helps to know what other people's languages are. Maybe preferences is a better word than languages. The way we prefer to be loved. Things like touch, or words, or gifts. I mean, there are quizzes you can take to figure it out, but like I said, it's pretty oversimplified. Most people like all sorts of affection. Almost everyone is a combination of them. You really haven't heard about this before? That's interesting. It's a little pop psychology, but it helps people see where they differ. Just one of those things that gives us insight into each other. It helps to, meet halfway with the people you care about. Oh yeah, I was curious a while back and took a quiz for it. I think it was mostly true for me. It felt pretty accurate anyway. Well, words were one of my top ones, but touch was a very close second. Like any kind of touch, really. Hugs, a hand on my back when we're out and about, holding hands, steamier stuff, all of it. Even just being able to lean against you when we're sitting somewhere together, with your arm around me. That physical contact makes me feel loved and looked after, I guess, cared for. No, same thing with the words. It doesn't have to be poetry. It can be really basic. Just hearing you say I love you, or when you compliment me, or tell me how happy you are when I'm around. Things like that. Little casual things. Nothing huge. No, not at all. None of it should be huge, It's all just everyday gestures to show affection. And like I said, it's not like anyone dislikes any of the languages, not entirely. Most of us want some combination of all of them. In fact, when I've thought about it in the past, in other relationships, I've kind of realized that my love language can change depending on what I'm getting or not getting from my partner. When I'm with someone who isn't doing any sort of acts of service, for example, then acts of service become a much bigger deal for me, and I want more of them. Does that make sense? We have a way of wanting the things that we're lacking. You do great. Stop that. Especially with the acts of service. You look after me a lot. Sure you do. You put gas in my car, you fold my laundry if you get to it first, things like that. You're very much about showing love through doing nice things. Practical things, really helpful things. You give and receive love that way, clearly, judging by the reaction to the coffee. I mean, when you think about it, we all probably subconsciously give the love that we want to receive. We can't really help it. It's all our own framing, our perspective. We see love through our own eyes first. Well, like, you know those notes that I leave for you sometimes? Those are words of affirmation and affection, because I'm a words person. So I express my love for you in that way, among other things. It's something that comes naturally to me. Now the question is, do those notes bother you? Okay, good, because if they did, I would stop. I don't want to express love in a way that makes you uncomfortable just because it's my comfort zone, you know? My love languages aren't the only ones that matter. No, that's not the point. I love you. I want to give you the love that you feel the most when you receive it. Whatever feels the most like affection for you, that's what I want to do. My own love language isn't the important thing when I'm focused on showing care to you. And why would it be? It's about you in those moments, which is one reason why I make you coffee. I don't drink coffee. But because I know that you're into acts of service, and me doing this for you is a small, easy way to remind you of how loved you are, it's a no-brainer. And clearly that resonates with you. I think a lot of people do get sort of hung up on their own love languages. We talk about what we like best, how we like to feel loved, but the continuation of that is how we give love. I think the whole point of knowing each other's love languages is knowing how to show the other person that they feel loved. If all I cared about was my own love language and not yours, how could I possibly be a good partner to you? It would be all about myself. The love language thing isn't just about understanding ourselves. It's about understanding each other and making an effort to care for each other in the ways that we can really feel. It's a connection point. So me knowing how you like to be loved is super important to me. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop leaving you notes, though. My own love language still informs a lot of what I do. And like I said, all the gestures matter, whether it's touch or gifts or whatever. I won't let any of them slide completely. I think a nice combination of all of them is pretty important. But I'll always try to make sure acts of service are at the top of the list for the things I do for you, because you feel those the most. Like I said, you're awesome. You cover all the bases pretty effectively, especially the acts of service. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love it when you say how you feel, and I love the little touches. Those really reach me on a very personal level. But I also love the acts of service you do for me. I know that when you do those, you're showing me how much you love me in a way that is your personal level, because I know you and I understand you. At first, before we were this close, it was harder. I didn't realize that the things you were doing or how you showed affection, and I also didn't realize that you were taking the things I did as expressions of affection. I just thought that making coffee was making coffee, you know? Until you mentioned how much it means to you, and it all clicked a bit. Acts of service are your thing, and because of that, I can give and receive them with a lot more meaning behind them. I'm meeting you halfway in your space, and keeping in mind that we're different people who see and feel things differently. You don't have to show me affection exactly the way that resonates with me. That would probably be a little boring anyway. You do what you do, and it's already great. Because you pay attention. Whether you realize you do it or not, you pay attention to the things I like and want and need. You already fill a lot of my love language needs just sort of naturally. Because you see me, and you listen to me, and you try to do the things that make me feel good. You just do that. It's who you are. Because you're a really thoughtful, kind person who gives a crap about making the people you care about feel cared about. You don't just give the love you want back. You give the love that makes me feel loved. You just didn't notice you were doing it. No, don't be self-conscious. This is a compliment. You're amazing, and I'm grateful as hell for you. I know I don't say that enough, but I don't ever want to take you for granted. Yeah, like that. We don't have to have the same love language to love each other, you know? We meet each other in the spaces that make us feel the best, and we look after each other in all the ways that matter. Of course, that's a given. Communication is always key. And if one of us isn't getting the affection we need or want, it's important that we tell each other that, because that's a problem we can work together to fix. If my little notes to you were annoying, you could tell me that and I could stop. If I needed more touch from you, I would tell you. All this is fluid, and it can change a lot from one day to the next, too. So it's extra important that we do regular temperature checks and speak up when something isn't right. I mean, how else can I be sure I'm making it clear exactly how much I love you? I definitely don't want to screw that up. Mwah. Thank you. So yeah, that's how it works. But it's really not a big deal. We talk, we connect, we work things through. It's a healthy dynamic. It doesn't have to be as simple as watering it down to individual love languages, but it does help. And it ensures that I never forget that making you a nice cup of coffee will make you smile in the morning. That is awesome. No, you are awesome. You're amazing. I'm really, really lucky to have you in my life, and I don't plan to ever take that for granted. Yeah, well, if I do, tell me, and use words. I tend to understand those. Good. Do you want something to eat with your coffee? Okay, then. I'm going to get to work, but if you need anything, I'm right here. You know what? I would actually. I'd like some touch, please. How about a hug? Thank you. I appreciate you. See you later, sweetness. Have a good day. Hey, sweetness. Special shout out to this audio's randomly selected sweetness patron, Bigsby. Thank you so much to all of my patrons. You make this channel possible. If you like what you hear, be sure to hit the subscribe button below, leave a like, and check out the links in the description for my other channels, my Patreon full of great perks, and all the ways you can support me with my gratitude. Thanks for listening.